Hey everyone. So, this is the first video I'm making. Um, it's kind of a combination of my love of ASMR, just relaxing, and also my love of fountain pens, journals, and all kinds of different ink. So, today I will be showcasing one of my fountain pens um, in ink, and then one of my journals. So hopefully, this will turn into something that I can do regularly, and I can showcase all of my fountain pens and my inks, and then the different journals that I've been collecting. Um, what I love so much about journaling is that it's a form of self-care for me. So, about 5 years ago, I started journaling every day. I've been journaling off and on for probably about, back to like the 90s, um, but very inconsistently. And it is interesting to go back and look through some of those old journals and read what was going on 30 years ago. I really wish that I had maintained the discipline to journal every single day. But I am more invested in my own self care now. So, journaling is just something that I absolutely love. And one of the reasons that I like it so much is because of the different fountain pens that I have been collecting. And I'm not a professional, so I don't know what like all of the technical terms are for things. So when you hear me describing things, it's gonna be more from an amateur point of view. But basically, I go with what I really like, what feels good to me, just what I prefer. Um, so the first thing that I want to do is put the ink out of the way here right now. So first we'll take a look at the pen. So this pen is Line Friends, and it's a collaboration that Line Friends did with Sailor. And it's a pricey pen. Fountain pens are not particularly cheap. You can buy more affordable ones, but um, something like this is like in the $300 range. So it's quite pricey. Um, that said, Lamy makes an incredible line of fountain pens, and they've got a great range. So you've got extremely affordable to like luxury pricing, and it's a great versatile pen in any price point, in my opinion. I love Lamy, and I will definitely be showcasing some of my Lamy collection as well. But I figured that I would start here because I love Line Friends. I have a lot of Line Friends merchandise, and when I found out that Line Friends had collaborated with Sailor, I had to get it because Sailor is a fantastic pen. is just a little on the pricey side. So if I turn this upside down here, we can see that, see if I can bring it a little closer. This is, the description is professional gear slim LEFP. Line Friends Brown, 14 karat gold. Right, so Brown is the name of this character right here. And he is one of my favorites. So when we open the box, and I'm not actually unboxing this, I've had this pen for, gosh, probably a couple of years, and I've used it quite a bit. So this isn't an unboxing. This is like a already been used unboxing. So right here, this is the box that it comes in, and this is the pen. So it's held under here by these elastic bands, and then it's got the ribbon over it. So this is the actual pen. You'll notice that there's not a lot of embellishment on the pen itself. Where you are going to see that is Brown's face. So Brown's face is on the top of the pen cap. And then of course the color is brown. And this kind of like beige on each side. Screws off. And then you get this. Face of brown right here on the nib. So the nib is gold with Brown's face. Two different tones of brown on the pen. And then the trim is in gold. And it says Sailor Japan fountain pen. So inside the case, you get this. These are all of the different characters. So for this particular collaboration with Sailor, they only did 3. So they've got Brown, Coney, and Sally. So these 3 characters are the only ones that I know of that Sailor has done the collaboration with. So the brown is the bear, Coney is the bunny, and then Sally is the little chick. Also in the box, you will get cartridges. So cartridges are, I typically don't use them. And the reason that I don't use them is because the colors are usually pretty limited. So you're going to have either like a navy blue or a black. I like to write in all different colors. So I typically shy away from cartridges. That said, Cartridges are extremely convenient because you can take them with you. So if you're traveling, um, you don't have to have a big bottle of ink with you. You can just have the cartridges. The ink, as much as I write, a converter of ink will run out quickly. Uh, so there is a lot of refilling that you have to do. Whereas with the cartridges, you kind of just pop it out and pop in a new one. It's a little bit more convenient. I am a sloppy refiller as well. When I refill my ink, I get it everywhere. It's usually all over my fingers. So the box will also contain a converter, and I don't read Japanese, but oh, good, it's here in English as well. But it gives you pictures, so it's very easy to understand how you're supposed to do this. So you dip the entire assembly in. You take this part off, and then you'll dip the entire assembly into the ink. You don't need to remove the converter from the pen, and I actually used to do that. And it's a huge mess. And it's really not necessary. It's actually easier to just take it and dip the entire thing, and I'm going to show you. And then this is probably just instructions, maybe a warranty. So we'll put these back in here. Close that down. And then, so this is what I use. This paper is fantastic. Let's see if I can printheadhospital.com. So this is absorbent paper, and it's fantastic. And I use it. I have I have tons of these. Wherever I am using my fountain pen, I will have this, and it's blotting paper essentially. Because when you are writing with a fountain pen, it takes a while for the ink to dry. Not um, half an hour or anything like that, but it may take like a couple of minutes for the ink to truly dry. So if you brush against it while you're writing, or if you turn a page and it hasn't fully dried, then you'll get a lot of smudging and smearing. So blotting paper is something that I use constantly, and it's also I put it down and use it when I am refilling or changing ink. So if you were to actually unbox this brand new, you would need to fill it with ink. You could use a cartridge, or you could use the converter. So let's take a look at what the Sailor converter looks like. So you'll open the pen like this, and as you can tell, I'm pretty much out of ink. And this is what the cartridge looks like. Now again, this cartridge does come out, and you could refill the cartridge and then put it in, but that's a huge mess. So it's better if you have the cartridge in the pen, and then you dip the entire unit into the inkwell. So how I do this, dip it down, and then just turn the little rotating end here, and you'll see that it has filled up with this ink. So I will immediately recap the ink. That's the priority before you do anything else because you do not want to spill this. Number one, it's expensive, and number two, I would not want to clean that up. So we recap the ink, and then I usually take a little strip of this and I will just kind of blot around the edge. Then give it a little wipe there. I like to get the housing reattached to it. I'm sure that's not the right name for this part of the pen. And once that's reattached, then you can go ahead and wipe it down with like a soft paper towel. Now, the ink that I've chosen to refill this with is by Pelikan. And it's a blue black, which I know I had just said I don't use the cartridges because it's either blue or black. Um, but this ink, um, this is extraordinary ink. I absolutely love this ink. And you'll see in a minute, to me, it has, there's a little more nuance than just a standard blue or black ink. It's very beautiful ink. It's also one of my go-to inks if I feel like a nib is too broad. So one thing that you'll find in the fountain pen journey is that every manufacturer's nib is a little bit different, right? So some manufacturers will say that it's a fine nib, um, and you may ink the pen and then start writing with it and realize this is huge. This is very, very large. When that happens, typically you can't return a pen once you've inked it. But what you can do is you can try and find like a drier type of ink. And that was suggested to me by one of the companies that I bought a Labon pen from. And I tried it and it did work. And I love Labon too. That's going to be another manufacturer, maker of pens that hopefully I will be able to. I have 3 of those, so I'll be able to showcase those. So I have, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 different inks, all different manufacturers, but the Pelikan I really, really like. So I have it in a like a hot pink color, and then I have it in this blue-black color. And so now we can take a look at this journal. So I bought this at Barnes & Noble. Vent for change. Reclaimed coffee beans. So this notebook is made using reclaimed coffee beans and 100% recycled paper. I'm not sure if the coffee beans are on this or if they're part of the paper or exactly what they are, but if you are like me and absolute coffee lover, then I couldn't pass this up. So this is the name of the notebook. This is the company, Pen for Change. So this may be the name of the notebook, like the organics line, because I noticed that they had different colors. So this notebook is made in Italy, and as you can see, it is on the pricier side, but I had done a video earlier, it didn't turn out, and I was hoping to write this. So this is my second YouTube video, and what I would typically do, like if I'm journaling, is I will take the blotting paper and just press down on it. Give it a second to absorb, and then you'll be fine, right? So then you don't have to worry about it smudging. If you don't use a blotting paper, you will need to, just make sure that you leave it, and also be really aware if, say you've written on this page, and you go to write on this page, if you do that, if you put your hand here, if you do anything, you're going to run into the possibility that you might smudge. So these are great because you just go between, give it a second to absorb, and you're good. You can continue writing. So this paper, I really like this paper. I like this paper because it's really thin, but yet, as you can see, when I turn the page, it doesn't bleed through here, which is a big thing for me because I journal, so I need both sides of the paper, and I like to journal with a lot of different colors. So if there's a lot of bleed through, I'm not going to use that particular journal for like my daily journaling. It has to be pretty much invisible once you turn the page. That said, I bought this journal initially because I liked that it had this, so I could essentially use these. I was going to use them as times to write my appointments, and then I could take notes here and also notes here. So I liked that a lot. As it turned out, I brought a different journal for work, and for keeping track of my appointments. So this one, it's a little bit, it would be, I think, a little bit difficult for me to journal in here. So I haven't exactly figured out what I'm going to be, or haven't decided what I'm going to use it for. Would be great, like, if you go on vacations or you go on trips and you have like a little portable printer, like the Sprocket, where you could make notes here. You could put little pictures here. There's a lot of versatility with this journal. You could even use it as like a daily journal. You could write goals here. You could journal about different experiences. You could, brainstorm here. Really the limits are, whatever you want to use it for. It's extremely versatile. It's got, it's a decent size. I don't know how many pages this is, and I don't know if it actually says how many pages it has, but it's a pretty good size. I don't even know. I don't even have a guesstimate as to how many pages this is, but it's a pretty good size. I mean, this will keep you for a while. So now that we have our paper and we've decided on our pen and we've chosen our ink, let's take a look at the quality of the nib. So I got a little bit of ink on brown. There we go. And wipe it on there. And there's a little bit of ink over here. Like I said, when you use real ink, I don't mean real ink, I mean bottled ink. It can sometimes be a little bit messy, right? There are times when I have it all over my hands, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So, with this pen, one thing that you'll notice is it's quite small, but it is comfortable, and I have pretty large hands. It's comfortable in my hand. You can use it like that. It might be a little bit more comfortable for you. This is a very lightweight pen. There's not a lot of heft to this at all, so it would not be tiring to use it capped. I typically do not write with them capped. I have some Coecos, some little pocket pens that I always use that capped, but typically I don't. However, with this pen, you're like right in the middle. If you're a person who likes to write with a cap, then you're fine. It's not really going to change the balance. It doesn't really change the weight distribution. And then if you're like me and you never use that, then it's comfortable enough. So it's hitting above this portion of my hand. So it still feels really comfortable. I can have a good grip on it. And the nib here is just gorgeous. I'm trying to see if I can focus in on that a little bit more. It is truly a gorgeous nib. Beautiful craftsmanship on this pen. And of course, there's a picture of Brown here. I mean, he's etched on the nib. How, as a true fan of the line Friends, I mean, it's like a must-have. So I get to look at Brown while I'm writing, which is wonderful. In terms of the pen performance, this pen is exquisite. It is worth the money. Sailor is a very high-end pen. Most fountain pens, they're going to have a range. So they're going to have like a luxury range, and then they're going to have a more like introductory amateur range. Sailor is a fantastic pen. Like I said, it's very, very lightweight. So it's not going to weigh your hand down. Some of my pens are extremely heavy. And I do like that as well, but you'll notice when you're writing, when the pens are extremely heavy, you will notice that. So this is extremely lightweight, and it's a great size, and it feels really good to write with. And then the nib itself is just incredible. It glides on the paper. And as you can see, the nib, kind of in keeping with the size of the pen, I would actually call this nib a little on the smaller side. A lot of my pens that are, around this size, they'll have these really large nibs. So this is a little bit of a smaller nib to me. Um, but it's extremely smooth. And the other thing that I love and appreciate about this pen is for me, there's been no problems with skipping. I do have some pens that have difficulty, that I have difficulty with, that tend to skip. And what I mean by that is you'll be writing and it'll, the ink will stop flowing intermittently, so you'll have kind of gaps in your words, gaps in your letters, and that is extremely annoying. I had a huge problem with a very, very high end brand, and I had just kept switching the inks, and then found that there was one that I didn't have that issue with. So sometimes it can be an ink problem as well, I think. Or not a problem, but it just can be maybe like an incompatibility with the ink and the pen that you're using. I like sparkly inks as well, and I thought for a while that there would be, or I thought initially when I started to use the metallic inks that they might do that. They might get congested in the nib. There might be some issues with flow, and there isn't. And I can't wait to showcase Ferris wheel press. They're absolutely an incredible manufacturer, and I have two of their pens, and I have either two or three of their inks, and one of their inks, it's called Ruby Royal Flush, and it's metallic. It's it's incredible. So I will be showcasing that one soon. But getting back to the Sailor, this nib is very, to me, very compact. It's very easy to write with. You're going to be really close to the paper, so your closer pen is a little bit closer. Um, and like I said, the pen really glides. And if you take a look at this color now, this one's dry. So when you look at this color, it may appear like just a standard blue, um, but I love the nuance of this color. It doesn't feel like just a standard blue to me. I don't know how to describe it more than just it. There's a little bit of a nuance to it. Um, it's not just blue. Um, but that is, the opinion of someone who uses a lot of different inks. So someone may look at this and say, this is absolutely blue. What are you talking about? This is just blue. But to me, because I have so many different blues, um, in working with so many different colors, you will eventually be able to kind of discern these little nuances. between the colors because I have a lot of reds too, blue, blue and black. I do have a few of them, um, but I tend to really like purple, pink, red, and yellow, and then I have a lot of like brown and tan and beige colors. I have a few grays, but I like the metallics. I like more striking colors. There's a color by Noodler's Ink called Hellfire, and it's just incredible. I will definitely be showcasing that. Um, it's in one of my Lamy pens, and it is it's one of my favorite pinks that I've used so far. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I definitely, oops, I want to put, we'll put brown back here. Um, I definitely hope to make some more videos, and I definitely want to showcase more of my fountain pen collection because it's, I won't say precious, but it is precious to me. I love each one of these pens. They're expensive, so they mean a lot to me because I choose to spend money on these pens, and I journal every single day. So I get up and I have my coffee and I spend at least an hour journaling. And so every day I am spending an hour with these pens at a minimum. And so each one of them I've gotten to know very well. And each one, it sounds corny, but it's like a friend. I get very excited to look through um, my pen holder and choose one or two. Sometimes I'll choose based on the colors that I want, or sometimes I'll choose based on the nib size that I want, or the hand feel, the weight. And it just makes journaling that much more fun for me, that a little bit more exciting. So I hope that if you are able to check out a sailor pen, that you can do so. I love going to art supply stores where you can actually test out the pens. It's one of my favorite things to do. Um, there's a store near where I live called Flax, and I love it there because the sales staff are so knowledgeable, they're so friendly. They can talk to you for like an hour about a pen, and it's absolutely wonderful. And then you can try the pen before you buy it, which is, I highly recommend it. I do a lot of pens through mail order, so I have like two or three um, online shops that I buy my pens from. But really, I recommend that you take some time, find a place where it has like a fine pen or fountain pen collection, uh, and take some time, kind of decide what feels good, decide what kind of nib you like. Um, there are fine, medium, and extra fine, and then there's broad, and there's all kinds of different variations too. I have one from Monteverde that I can't remember what they call it right now. I'll do a video on it. But it's like the nib changes depending on how much pressure you use, and I absolutely love that pen. I'm not 100% sold on the nib. It kind of tends to look the same no matter what I do, but I do absolutely love that pen. So this Sailor pen, the Line Friends edition, Brown, who is arguably my favorite Line Friends character, next to Cookie. I recommend that you try a Sailor pen if you haven't. And I definitely recommend journaling, not only as a form of expression, but as a form of self care. It is very, very helpful. It's very helpful to be able to look back over your thoughts. It's very helpful to be able to read something later. And I know that it's helped me over the years to have many realizations about what I'm feeling, what I tell myself in the moment, narratives that I've created in my life. And then I can look back at things and see it from a different perspective. And it's really helped me to grow. And also, I talk so much that I am sure that all of my friends are very happy that I do a lot of journaling because I always have a lot to say. So I spend my mornings with my fountain pens and with my journals, and I love it. So I definitely recommend journaling, and I definitely recommend taking a look at fountain pens. I am very proud to own this Sailor Line Friends Collab pen, and I'm very proud to bring this to you as my first YouTube video. I have been on YouTube since it started, pretty much, and I am a huge fan of ASMR, and I have been my entire life. I didn't necessarily want to have this video be ASMR. I wanted to approach this a little bit differently. I wanted it to be kind of more about like the pens, the journals, the ink. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you will try some fountain pens and try journaling. Thank you very much for